Hello friends, welcome to the GDPI preparation videos by the Interview Brigade. My name is Tushar and today we are going to discuss something which majority of the MBA aspirants are clueless about at this point of time. I think you get it right. It's how to prepare for interview process of B schools. I'm sure this must be the question which would be on your mind at this moment. You would have prepared hard for the written exams and you would have secured B school calls. But the next question is how we should prepare, right? So as part of this video today, we'll be talking about different strategies, different methodologies, and different sources which you can refer to while you are preparing for your interview process. Now, before we answer how part, so how you need to prepare, before we answer this part, let's understand what you need to prepare. That's very important because until and unless you know what you don't know what to prepare, you can't prepare that. You can answer the how part only when you know what you need to prepare. And knowing what to prepare will give a direction to your preparation. So there are four aspects to content which forms the foundation of your preparation. The first one are the current affairs, which are the topics or the events which happened in the current duration. They can be social, economic, political, etc. For example, Rajnikant deciding to enter politics is definitely a, a current affairs topic which would be of interest to the interview panel. However, a robbery in your locality, maybe it's a current affair topic, but it's not something which would interest the interview panel. Okay, so you need to identify, or you need to have a judgment of what the current affair topics you need to prepare for. Then comes static GK. Static GK are include the topics which are not going to change. They are not going to change. These events happened and they are going to remain same. So generally, static GK is more about facts. I'll explain how these are interrelated, but for the time being, let's see them as individual topics. Basics of economics. Basics is the keyword here. You are not supposed to do PhD. You are just supposed to understand the basics of economics. So don't worry, don't be afraid of economics. Economics is nothing but common sense, and you need to understand that common sense. And finally, the most important part of content is the HR questions, the questions which are related to you. Now, the entire content part, let me divide it into two parts. This is the part which is very important. You can go wrong here. Okay, it's fine if you are wrong here, but you can't afford to be wrong here. You can't afford. You have to be right. When I say right, it means you have to give right answers. What do you mean by right? Which are justifiable and which fit to your profile, which answers that fit to your profile. So your profile says something else and your answer says something else. That shouldn't be happening. And your answers have to be very crisp and to the point. Believe me, in an interview, almost 50 to 60% of your airtime is going to be for these answers, okay, on these topics. So prepare well for these topics. How you need to prepare, we'll discuss them in the subsequent slides. For the time being, let's shift our focus back to current affairs, static GK, and basics of economics. Now you need to understand the perspective why current affairs are asked. First of all, you are never asked about facts. Always you are asked about opinions. So what's your opinion on topic A or topic B, right? To form this opinion, you need facts, which comes from static GK, and you need logical arguments, which can be combined with those facts and your and you can frame an opinion. So these logical arguments can come from economics, can come from static GK. Facts always come from static GK, and together these will help you frame your opinions. Now, why B School is interested to know about your opinions. They want to see whether you are framing your opinions emotionally, or you are framing your opinions logically and on facts, right? Now, I'll give you an example. So let's say we take a topic, a current affairs topic. The interview panel asks you, what's your opinion on Bitcoin, the valuation of Bitcoin, right? So they are asking you about your opinion on Bitcoin. There can be two approaches to answer this thing. First can be, you can be an emotional I would say you can be an emotional fool, and you can say that it's all fad, it's all speculation, it's what we say, it's confusing technology, blah blah blah. Obviously, you're not going to give this answer, but there are people who give such answers, who answer emotionally. So don't fall in that trap. Don't give emotional answers. You need to give logical answer. To answer this question, you need to know some facts. Those facts would be, what is a cryptocurrency, right? What are the types of cryptocurrency? So Ripple, Ether, Bitcoin Lite, these are all cryptocurrencies. When we talk about cryptocurrencies, you also need to know what is blockchain, okay? And what's the concept of peer-to-peer currency? So cryptocurrency is a form of peer-to-peer currency. So you need to understand what's a peer-to-peer currency. Next, you need to understand what RBI says, or rather what warnings RBI has given, what the income tax depart income tax department in India has done in the recent time. They have raided the stock exchanges, not stock exchanges, but cryptocurrency exchanges. So why they have done this? So you need to know all these events. Then you need to understand few concepts of economics. For example, how currency operates. What's the role of central bank, or in our case, let's say RBI, as far as currency is concerned. Maybe you need to know about, let's say, economic bubbles. So a lot of people are saying that cryptocurrency is another bubble. So you need to know about economic bubbles. And when I think about bubble, the first bubble which I can relate to Bitcoin is the bubble of 2000, the dot-com boom of 2000, right? So if you know these concepts of economics and you know these facts, combining these two, you can easily answer, you can easily have a opinion that whether Bitcoin is a speculation, it's a fad, or it's an in thing, it's a real thing, right? So that's how you need to prepare for your current affairs using static GK, basics of economics, right? So let's now understand the how part. The earlier slide talked about the what part, the four whats, and in this slide we'll talk about how you should prepare for current affairs and static GK. It's very simple. First of all, don't get overwhelmed with multiple advices and multiple suggestions which are there on the internet. Just do few simple things. The first thing is, start reading newspaper from today. Pick any newspaper, will be it, let's say, Times of India, Indian Express, Hindustan Times, doesn't matter. Just pick any national daily, okay, and start reading it. What else you can read? You can read online blogs. For international topics, read BBC. For national, what we say, topics, there is a blog by name of Pragati. They also publish their weekly, not weekly, but I think bi-weekly magazine. Uh, download that magazine and read that magazine. I think it's free, but it's very good. Read magazines like Business Today. Frontline is good one. There are a lot of opinions in it, so Frontline is good. Read those magazines. Okay. Second thing, a lot of people say, what's the duration of events I need to cover? Don't worry about the duration. The methodology which we are going to give you, your a good amount of current affairs would be covered, and you won't be you don't need to worry about the duration, because if you see, there is duration can be endless. They can ask you a topic which is, let's say, 3 months old or 6 months old or even an year old, but the methodology which you follow here, you will be covered. At least you would be fairly covered with respect to current affairs and static GK. And also have one thing in mind: you can't cover 100% of current affairs and 100% of the static GK. So you have to focus on the things that matter now. Okay, don't focus on something that happened 1 year back and it's not a discussion of town today. You have to focus on current affairs which are in discussion today, and you have to focus on the static GK, which will help you frame opinion of these current affairs which are a discussion of the town as of today. Okay, having said this thing, now you need to take multiple steps to build your knowledge around current affairs and static GK. As I said, read daily. When it comes to newspaper, start with the editorial, then move to the business section, and finally have a read of the front page and the last page. These three things you need to do without fail daily. Okay, daily is the keyword here. Next step is identify the opinions and the facts, right? So your question would be, how do I prepare for static GK? You don't have to randomly prepare for static GK. Whatever current affair topics you are reading from the editorials, from the business, from the facts you are reading, there might be some opinions from there. Especially from the editorial section, you will see a lot of opinions, right? And from these two sections, you will see a lot of facts. Have those things, okay? After you are done reading these things, summarize them in your mind and document them in a notebook or in a register or in an online, let's say Google Drive, if whatever you are comfortable with, but do document it daily. I'll tell you how it's going to help you. Now, once you have documented, right, do this thing daily, right? So you have documented your opinions, you have documented the facts, right? Once you have documented them, these facts which you have collected, some of the facts you will be knowing, some of the facts you won't be knowing. Explore those facts. For example, you are reading about cryptocurrency as an editorial, and there they are talking about, let's say, the not fiscal deficit, but they are talking about stock markets, or they are talking about blockchain. They are referring to cryptocurrencies, they are referring to Ether or Ripple. Go on the internet and search about them, what these things are, right? I'm sure you will uncover a lot of new things. So these will be your arsenal to form further opinions, right? And the last thing is, do this thing daily. See, daily is the keyword here. Now I'll tell you why. Let's say in today's editorial, you are reading about cryptocurrency. The way the editorials are written, it's not that they write about a topic and then tomorrow the topic changes. The same topic continues for some days, but the relevance and the context changes. For example, today they are talking about the meteoric rise of Bitcoin, right? Tomorrow they will be talking about that the income tax department, has raided multiple exchanges of cryptocurrencies. The day after tomorrow, they might be talking about that the warning which RBI has given with respect to cryptocurrency. So after, say, 5 days of reading and documenting, you will have a complete information, not just information, but opinions on multiple aspects related to cryptocurrency. And that is how your knowledge will build. Your knowledge around current affairs and your knowledge around static GK will build. Okay, I'll give you an example here, a real life example. So this is one of the articles which appeared few days back. This article talks about um, what we say. Uh, uh, it talks about a resolution which Jammu and Kashmir Assembly has taken with respect to uh, relocating or rehabilitating a part of the population which moved out of Kashmir 27 years back. Okay, so 27 years back, something happened in Kashmir. The insurgency started. As a result, the Kashmiri Pandits started moving out. So this is a fact which fills here, right? So what happens in Kashmir 27 years back? This fact you need to know. Now, below, you'll see that they are talking about PDP and BJP. They're talking about national conference. So read about these political parties. What are their philosophies? Just for your reference, PDP and BJP, they are two opposite faces of a coin, yet they are in a coalition in Kashmir. So what are the circumstances that led to this coalition? What's the core agenda of PDP? What's the philosophy of BJP with respect to Kashmir, right? What does National Conference say? And when you are reading about these things, you'll also get to know about Article 370, right? You need to know why Jammu and Kashmir came into existence. What's the problem behind Jammu and Kashmir? Different wars. We fought with Pakistan 1948, 62, I think 65, sorry, 65, 72. You'll not 72, but Kargil. 72 was with China. So you'll get to know about these wars and you'll get to know what was the original problem, which the original circumstances in which Jammu and Kashmir was annexed in India. So all these will be a part of your static GK. And what will be the opinions? The opinions are here. So this article gives opinions around what the government should do to rehabilitate those people, the government, and what the political agenda is, and what can be different measures that can be taken to rehabilitate those people. So this is how your, if you follow the methodology which we have given, you start with the editorials, you start with the business newspapers, and you start with all these online blogs, and you just cull out the static knowledge and the opinions and start documenting. You'll see that over a period of time, you start today, and after 30 days, your knowledge would have grown by at least, believe me, at least 100 times. And the best part is you're not supposed to memorize each and everything. You are documenting everything before you appear for an interview. You can just do a quick refresher of your notebook and you can memorize those facts and your opinions. And this will be helpful for you in the interview. So this is how you need to prepare for current affairs and static GK. Let's talk about how you need to prepare for basic of economics. Again, a large part would be taken care by the editorials and the business section. So when you are reading these stuff, let's say when you are reading about cryptocurrency, you will be seeing that again and again there's a mention of currency markets or RBI. So you need to go to the internet and search about RBI, what RBI is doing, what's the philosophy of RBI, what's the role of RBI, right? And when I'm saying economics, again, let me reiterate, I'm not saying you are supposed to do PhD in economics. All you need to do is you need to understand the basics, the common sense behind economics. I'll give you an example here. So I remember last time I was interviewing one of the students at the Interview Brigade. I asked him a question that what's the GDP of India? And you know what answer he gave me? He said that GDP of India is 7%. Now don't make these foolish errors in your interview. GDP of India is somewhere around $2.2 trillion. This is the growth rate of GDP, Q on Q, right? GDP is this is the growth rate. You need to understand what is GDP, what is growth of GDP, and what is the absolute number in dollars term of that GDP. Now, as part of our course, we'll be covering a lot of economic topics like, for example, fiscal deficit, inflation, role of RBI, other economic bodies, role of stock markets, the regulator like SEBI. So we'll be discussing multiple topics like these in economics under our Knowledge Builder course. So you can subscribe to that course. Otherwise, you can also prepare these topics on your own via editorials and the business newspapers. The last and the most important part of your content, which is HR questions. Now, these are some sentences, some paragraphs which you can read, but the important part is the methodology which I'm going to give to you today. How you need to prepare for HR questions. As I said earlier, you can go wrong in current affairs, but you can't go wrong when it comes to HR questions. You have to be right, you have to be crisp, and you have to be to the point. Now, when I'm saying right, I'm not saying right in the absolute sense. I'm saying that your answer has to fit in with your profile. That is what I mean by saying that your answer has to be right. It has to fit in with your profile. If your answer is not fitting with your profile, it's not maybe the best answer, it's not the right answer. Okay, so quickly, let's see how you can start preparing for the HR questions. So the first step is go to this website, go to our website, Interview Brigade. On this website, you'll see a PDF which mentions 31 questions, the HR related questions which are commonly asked in a B school interview. Download that PDF and start and have a look at those questions. We have segregated these questions across multiple areas, like questions related to your personality, okay, uh, questions related to your profile, your profession, your attitude towards life, and your attitude towards work, how you handle failure. So we have segregated questions across these areas. Pick up those questions and start thinking about your answers. Once, while you are thinking about your answers, document. This is the most important part. Again and again, we'll say document each and everything. If you don't document, you don't do this. You're not doing that thing. As simple as that. So document your answers. Okay. Third step, read your answers daily. Now, when I'm saying read your answers daily, I'm not asking you to mug up your answers. All I'm saying is internalize the idea. Okay, internalize the structure of your answers. So, for example, if someone is asking you, tell me something about yourself, you need to have the structure ready. That okay, I have to give, let's say, one, two, three, these three thoughts in my answer. And yeah, so if you are reading daily, you will be able to internalize these thoughts and you will be able to reproduce these thoughts. So these thoughts should be handy with you. Okay. Now, what will happen when you are documenting and when you will be reading your answers daily? When you are reading your answers daily, you will see that there are areas of improvement. Every day you will see that, okay, I am answering it in this manner. Let me answer it in this manner. Or let's say this idea three, it seems to be out of context. What if I have another idea four? Let me try it out. Okay, so these type of experimentations, these type of iterations you need to make. And another important thing, you need to identify all the hooks in your answers. Hook is something which prompts the interview panel to ask you further questions. These hooks can be, let's say, by default. And if you feel that there is no hook in your question, in your answer, you have to induce a hook. Okay, I'll give you an example here. So I remember when I was preparing for my interviews, when I used to answer the question, or when I used to give my introduction, I used to talk about my town, which was an industrial as well as an agri town in in Haryana. The name of the town is Yamnanagar. Okay. I used to talk about the agri and the business problems which the people in this city face. Okay. So what was the hook here? The interviewer used to ask me, first thing they used to ask me about Yamnanagar. So tell me something more about Yamnanagar. Why is it famous for? Which brands are there in Yamnanagar? So it's an industrial town. It manufactures utensils. So which famous brands are there? Then they used to ask me. So I used to tell them that there's a lot of sugar plantation in Yamnanagar. Okay. And sugar industry is facing a lot of problems. intentionally, I never used to talk about those problems as the first aspect because that was a hook for the interviewer. Naturally, the interviewer used to ask me, so what are the problems you think the industry is facing, and what are the steps which government can take to solve those problems? So you need that was a hook for me, and you need to have those hooks in your answer. When it used to come to hobby, or I used to say that I'm really passionate about kite flying and I really want to be a professional kite flyer. So the natural question was, what are you doing to prepare yourself to be a professional kite flyer? So I have that answer ready with me, and I used to give that answer. So you see, by having these hooks, I can drive the interview in my favor. At least I'll have some predictability that the answer which I have given, there are three hooks in it. If the interviewer picks this hook or this hook or this hook, the interview is going in your favor because you know you are somewhere ready with the answer which is going to follow, right? The question which is going to follow, you are ready with that answer. So be prepared with these hooks. And as I said, repeat this activity daily and don't fail to document. Documentation is very important. So this is the methodology with respect to preparing for your HR questions. And this was all we had in this video. If you like, I hope you like the video, and if you like the video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If if you want us to cover a specific topic, do leave a response in the comments, and we'll see if we can cover that topic. Also, we'll be having lot many more videos on our YouTube channel, as well as we are coming out with a course which is a knowledge builder course, which will cover the current affairs, the static GK, and the basics of economics to a larger degree. So you can visit our website and have a look at that course. In the meanwhile, if you have any question or you need any help, feel free to drop an email or give us a call on this number. Thank you once again, and I wish you all the best for your interview preparation. Thank you.